Hey, yo, everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video, and today we're going to be doing my Andrew Cutter Picks of the Weeks. Now, for those of you new to my channel, know nothing about this video series, basically what I do is I take a quick look at this week in DC Comics. Then I select the comic I enjoyed the most and declare my Andrew Cutter Pick of the Week. Now, if at any time during this video you see a comic you like expanded on a bit further, don't worry, I did a review of these. It'll be in another video just previously before this one. You can go check it out and see the video review there. And for the most part, I reviewed all of them, but recently, each week I've been forgetting one title, and this week I forgot Justice League International, so I'll do a mini review of that real quick. In addition to that, we'll talk about any news or updates pertaining to myself, my channel, or the world around me. So, real quickly before we get into this week in DC Comics, Justice League International. This was actually quite a brutal book, and I don't mean brutal as in bad. Brutal as in, oh shit, people got the crap beat out of them. Some of them came close to dying. Some of them are gone, kind of. But and it had a shocking ending at the end with Booster and how that all played out, and of course with Batman and Brother Eye. Basic thing is Brother Eye takes control of OMAC, and now Brother Eye is being controlled by someone else. I think it's Maxwell Lord, but hey, it can be whoever you want it to be. Hell, it can be Kermit the Frog. Kermit the Frog in charge of Brother Eye would be absolutely hilarious. But anyways, he takes control of OMAC, and as you can see there, OMAC beats the living crap out of everyone. And when I mean beats the living crap out of everyone, beats the living crap out of everyone. Which just shows you why OMAC is such a powerful character and someone that I would love to see on the Justice League of America, the new comic coming out. I was surprised that Jeff Johns, just adjusting, Jeff Johns didn't do that, or DC in general didn't do that. But it was a good issue, and I will give it a 4 out of 5. So, time to look at all the comics this week. So, we'll start off with the annuals. Detective Comic Annual 1, and all the annuals are number 1. Superman Annual, Green Lantern Annual, Flash Annual, Justice League International Annual, National Comics Looker issue number 1, one shot. By the way, National Comics apparently pertains to one shot comics set in the DC 52. Now I know, and no one's half the battle. G.I. Joe. Um, Phantom Lady and Doll Man issue number 1 of 4, Aquaman issue number 12, Justice League issue number 12, and Minutemen Before Watchmen issue 3 of 6. This was a really tough one this week. I went back and forth on what I wanted to be my Andrew Cutter pick of the week. And although I think I enjoyed, this is going to sound really weird, so please bear with me. Because I always pick the comic I enjoyed the most. Not necessarily the one that's the best, the one I enjoyed the most. Although I think I enjoyed Justice League quite a bit, and maybe a little bit more than my Andrew Cutter pick of the week. I think the Andrew Cutter pick of the week impressed me more, and that's why I'm going to give it to it. It impressed me on how good it was. And I'll give it to Minutemen Before Watchmen, issue 3 of 6. Definitely the best of the Before Watchmen. This was a really well done story, and I think the pacing was the thing that made it so good. It was a little heavy on the dialogue, but Darwyn Cooke tends to do that, and I'm okay with it. The look is great, and I I just really thought this was a very well done comic. Again, I think I might have, from a comic book fan perspective, liked Justice League a little bit more, but I'm going to give it to Minutemen because I thought it was a better book, and I was more impressed with this book. It just surprised me on how good it was. Excuse me, I'm a little stuffy. I don't know why. I think it's allergies. Okay, on to news updates and various other things. First and foremost is if you've been following my Facebook account, and you can go down there. This is my 100% legitimate Facebook, not some fake one I made up. Um, I said that I am now reading the G.I. Joe classic stuff. So the thing is I like G.I. Joe, and I always like the concept of G.I. Joe. The funny thing is when I grew up, I was born in '87, so I only had 3 years in the '80s. But many of those shows were redone or re-aired on TV after they went off the air. And in addition to that, I kind of hung out with my brother a bit when I was younger, so I got the '80s nostalgia from him. So I like to think that I'm a product of both the '80s and '90s. Whether or not you can take that bullshit as true or not is up to you, but I truly believe that. And Um, I like G.I. Joe. It wasn't my favorite out of the 80s shows, but the thing is the show is really not the best thing about the G.I. Joe. The main G.I. Joe continuity and the main stuff about G.I. Joe that's good is the comics. So there's been Marvel, Image, Devil Dudes, and IDW. And the way the continuity works is you have the Marvel stuff, which is issue 100, no, I mean issue 1 to 155, which you can get in all the classic collection, which is what I'm picking up for the Marvel stuff. And then everything else except for IDW is not considered canon. So it's Marvel, then IDW, which starts at issue number 155 and a half. They continue the numbering, which is interesting. So when I go to work today, which I'm actually going to have to get ready for real soon, I'm going to go and pull those issues aside because that only came out in 2010. They only have maybe 20 issues out. Pull those issues aside, put them to the side, and pick up GI Joe Weekly and do reviews on those maybe. What I'm thinking about is when the Marvel Now stuff comes out, I'll do I'll add in all my independent and Marvel stuff in my video reviews. We'll see. But I've been loving the classic GI Joe stuff. My favorite characters, well, my favorite is Snake Eyes. I love Snake Eyes because, I mean, he's a freaking ninja. I do have some of the figures. This is my favorite Snake Eyes figure. I have 4 Snake Eyes, Cobra Commander, Baroness, and Scarlet. Nowhere near the amount that some people have. But I love Snake Eyes, and I also like Scarlet. Scarlet's another Joe I like. I find that some of the Marvel stuff is very interesting, and it takes itself seriously. Sure, it's 80s comics, but 80s comics that take itself seriously. And I think that's one of the things that can be a charm of the Silver Age, is if you read the Silver Age, it's goofy, yeah. But it kind of takes itself seriously in its goofiness. So, I love G.I. Joe. I think it's great. I'm going to continue with that. I'm glad I took the dive into it. So that's been happening. Video game stuff. I've defeated the last story. I finished it. Let me pull out this so I have something to reference by. The last story, which is a Wii game. This is the collector's edition box, which I got. And it was very nice because you get this box and you get it for the same amount that you would pay for the regular game. You get a bunch of other stuff like an art booklet and such. What can I say about the last story? Uh, I gave kind of a basic review when I first talked about it maybe a week or two ago. I forget. But the last story, I really did enjoy. The story was kind of, no pun intended, the story was kind of cliche. Some of the elements in the stories were cliche. But the combat was actually really fun for JRPG. I think it's one of the more interesting and well done combats with that. There are obviously things about that would change. Like, for example, your character will auto attack. But there's times when I don't want my character to auto attack, like when trying to get my character out of the way and he's still attacking the enemy. I'm like, get out of the way, I'm gonna get healed. Um, and I wish you could alternate between all the other characters too. I mean, you 90% of the time you play as Zale. Sometimes you play as other characters, but you don't get the option to. I think that it would have been nice to have the option to. But I think the thing that really made this game stand out, other than the gameplay being fun, is it the characters in it really brought it together. The characters made the story more interesting, made the atmosphere more interesting. It was a beautiful looking universe too. Very good looking when it came down to the art design and the direction, whether it be the official artwork or whether it be the graphic artwork. But it's really the characters that brought everything together, and I really did enjoy Last Story. Is it the best Wii game there's ever been? No, but it's a good send off for the Wii. It's a good bye bye. I still have 4 Wii games technically to play. I'm playing Rayman Origins and I'm playing Dead Space Extraction, but those came out before Last Story, so I'm not going to count them. And then I have the Kirby collection, which again I'm not going to really count, and then Epic Mickey 2. But I think Last Story is a nice send off to the Wii, which is really in its last days. A last story for the last days of the Wii. So I did enjoy that. And news on Professor Layton. If you're a fan of Professor Layton, I'm currently going through the 4th game, which is actually a prequel, which is The Last Spectre. Professor Layton, Herschel Layton, the character himself, will be in only 2 more Layton games. The Miracle Mass and the next one, which I forget what it is, but it has something Civilization. And after that, Layton is done. Now, whether this means that Herschel Layton as a character is no longer going to be playable, or if they're just finishing the series itself, we'll see. I feel bittersweet about this because, on one hand, I don't want it to be done. But at the same time, one of the things that needs to be done is when something is good, is end it when it is good. Um, You know, as much as I would like stuff in the Harry Potter universe, because I really did enjoy Harry Potter, it's fine the way it ended. It's good. Star Trek Next Generation, I love that series. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. It ended, keep it ended. Plain, flat, and simple. Plain, flat, and simple. There's some stuff that you do that. I find that with my D&D characters. That we have like 6 years worth of D&D universe that spans over 1,000 years of characters with history and everything that I've done. And I'm going to stop using that universe because the stories I told are done. I can't tell any more stories with my main character Angelus, or Lacey, which is another main character, or Alexia, or Hawk, or Agarok. I can't use any more stories with those characters because I ended it so well. And if you guys ever want to know what the story and the ending was, just let me know. But I ended it so well that there's nothing more I can do. Nothing more. I could do something, but if I did it, it just wouldn't work. It'd feel out of place. So, in saying that, I'm kind of glad that they're ending Professor Layton in a way, but at the same time, I've found so much joys in those games to see them end is sad. We've been seeing more stuff for the Injustice Gods Among Us stuff. I'm definitely going to get that game. It looks sick. They showed Cyborg and Nightwing not too long ago, a while ago, but not too long ago. So I'm getting pumped for that. I'm thinking about picking up Green Lantern New Guardians, starting at issue 0 and going from there. We'll see. I do get that little extra cash, so I might be doing that because I like the New Guardians. Not Green Lantern New Guardians. Did I say New Guardians? I mean Green Lantern Corps. I get New Guardians. Green Lantern Corps. So that means I'd be getting all the Green Lantern titles. But I do like the Corps. I do like John Stewart and Guy Gardner. They're just not my favorite Lanterns. My Lantern rankings go this: Hal, Sinestro, Kyle, Stewart, Gardner. So yeah, anything else happening? Uh, no, nothing really big on video game news. Scott Snyder, not Scott. Well, Rob Liefeld and Scott Snyder are having kind of a Twitter war. Which I was trying to be a little defensive of Rob Liefeld when he was leaving, but now I have no sympathy for him. He's being a total dick to Scott Snyder. I didn't even know about this until I looked it up. Um, you can give him a little credibility for kind of showing the veil on what's happened in DC editorial, but then he starts flipping out like this on other writers and other creators, and you can't take him legitimate. So I think that's silly, the stuff that he's been doing. Silly. But yeah, there's nothing really else in news at all. Hmm. I'm gonna have a what I am thinking up tomorrow, hopefully. I have two, one pertaining to Star Wars, one pertaining to TMNT, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I'm gonna be talking about those two. Hopefully, I'll have one up tomorrow. I can't promise anything 100%, but I'm gonna try. And yeah, there's nothing else to really talk about. It's been kind of a slow week when it's come down to that. And it's been horrible, but most of my nights have been me playing Last Story. I get home around 1 o'clock and I'll play Last Story until 2. And I've been trying to beat that, and I'm like saying, you gotta beat this game because this is really the last major game to beat. Oh, two things actually that I could ask you guys. Maybe you guys can answer this. One is, there's supposed to be a Pokemon Wi-Fi event going on with Kelidon or whatever it is, and I've been trying to do it, but it hasn't been working. Could someone maybe give me an answer, help me out with that? Second thing is I'm playing Rayman Origins. How many of the do I need those purple things to beat the games? Because I keep on trying to go to these last bosses, and they're not letting me because I don't have enough purple thingies. Or pink thingies, whatever they're called. I know, I'm super descriptive. But if anyone can answer those two questions, more the Pokemon question than anything, please. I really would like to know. Because I want to get that event, Pokemon. So, in saying that, I'm going to end this video here. There's not much more to talk about. This is Andrew saying peace out for now.